Hey, what's up, everybody? It's that guy, Skimpy, and this is Tackle Talk with Skimp, where I'm going to be interviewing a bunch of different bait makers, whether they pour jigs or pour plastics or make swim baits or airbrush or modify molds or even making molds. Anything that has to do with bait making and tackle, I want to talk about it. So let's go. Oh my God! Look at it. Vinco mold. This is the 5-inch one. All right, we're just going to jump right in it. I got question number one. What is your name and where are you from?
My name's Cunningham, and I'm from Springfield, Missouri. So good old Southern Missouri.
Okay. Question number two is, where can we find you? Like, what social media platforms are you on?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, of course, just Connor Cunningham Fishing. And then I've got a Facebook page, also Connor Cunningham Fishing. And then recently this year, I started doing a bunch of YouTube stuff,
Yep.
and it's Connor Cunningham Fishing as well. So those are the three outlets I'm on, I guess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Question number three is, how long have you been fishing?
Man, I've been fishing pretty much my whole entire life. I think I caught my first fish when I was about like 2.5 years old.
Okay.
There's a crazy story behind that. And then I fished my first bass tournament at like age 6. They used to have every year they had a kids tournament for a Make-A-Wish Foundation benefit. And I fished the first one with my dad, and then for the next couple of years I fished with my uncle. And then the timeline on that was perfect because after that they had a huge buddy circuit. It was called Like Father, Like Son.
Okay.
And they had a junior division, adult division. You could fish with your dad, grandpa, whoever. And it was a great introductory kind of tournament circuit that got a lot of us addicted to fishing. So That's how I got my start.
All right. Question number 4. It's actually a 2-part. Would you rather fish for smallmouth or largemouth bass? And the bonus question is, what is your PB? What's your personal best?
Yeah, so the easy answer to that is whatever is in front of me because, I'm from Missouri, so I get to go up north and catch smallmouth some. And then I've also been fortunate to go south and catch big largemouth too. And man, that's a toss up because man, smallmouth are awesome, but then man, whenever I'm down there catching big largemouth, I'm like, doesn't get any better than this either. But if I had to pick, I would say smallmouth just because they're so aggressive and they fight so hard. And when I was a kid growing up on Table Rock here, they used to have some huge smallmouth back then. There's still some in there, but not like it used to be. So my biggest smallmouth was actually out of Table Rock, and it was a 589.
Nice.
And it was one of the first bass that I caught on a homemade jig. I still remember it, and it was crazy because I've got to go to some really good smallmouth fisheries, but I just haven't quite topped that one yet. So big old smallmouth.
What about your biggest largemouth? Do you remember that one?
Biggest largemouth was just a little over 8 pounds. I haven't caught any true giants yet. Like I said, I'm from Missouri, so there's not a whole lot of just 10-pounders swimming around everywhere, but yeah, a little bit over 8 pounds.
I mean, that's still a big bass, man. That's still a big bass.
It's a big bass. I still got some room for improvement though. So,
okay. Question number 5 is, what got you started making your own baits?
So, whenever I was a kid here in Missouri, the little brown jig was like taking off big time, and they were hard to get. And my uncle and some of his buddies were in on it super, super early. And the only way to get these little finesse jigs were to make your own. So they actually had a mold made. This was before Do It had their finesse jig mold, and it came along shortly. Once that mold came out, I think I was about 14 years old. My dad bought the mold and said, here, let's get started making some of these. So we did it out of necessity. And then, man, after that, it just took off like wildfire. I mean, I make all kinds of stuff, A-rigs, worms, everything. But that's what got me started on it was this little rascal right here, just out of pure necessity, just needing to make them because you couldn't even buy them in the store. So that's how I got started.
Awesome. All right. question number 6 is, what is your favorite bait to make, and bait and or color to make?
Yeah, so I love shooting plastics. I think that's super fun to get creative with that. But I just love tying just a jig. Like I do it makes a poison tail jig. There's a
Oh yeah.
lot of different stuff you can do with it, and that's my favorite jig to make just because it's so versatile. And just any craw color is my favorite. Like this one right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've got like 7 or 8 different colors just tied into that skirt. And man, there's just something about tying a good looking jig like that and catching a bass on it. That's probably my favorite thing to make.
Okay. On the opposite side, what are the baits or colors that you don't like to make, like the most pain in the butt jigs to
Yeah, for
pour
sure.
plastics?
Yeah, I got two that come to mind.
Okay.
Once again, it's kind of out of necessity, but I get almost every single component from Do It, and they're satisfying once you get them done. But the A rig, like that's a homemade A rig, and I've got blades I get from Do It, clevises, all that, and it's just a nightmare to put all that together.
Yeah.
And but it's fun to catch them on it. And then the second one is I kind of got creative and made a dice mold, like a dice bait mold,
Okay.
and they're super easy to pour. The mold I made has a ton of cavities. It's super easy to do. It takes no plastic, but man, when you have to set down with the
Thread
needle
it.
and thread all the silicone, oh, it's just so tedious. I just absolutely hate making them, but a hot new trend, so you got to take matters in your own hands and build some sometimes.
Right. All right. So, question number 8 is, what is some good advice for anyone starting off making their own baits?
Yeah, so I guess my advice would be to start small. I've got a bunch of people, since I got on the YouTube stuff, I do a lot of tackle, bait builds more or less. And like I've got a ton of different molds from Do It and everything. And I've already went in head first. We're way past that. But my advice would be just to start small. Like I was telling you, I got started off building like a little bitty brown jig. It's super simple. You're not gonna have a whole lot of money tied up into it. And it would be just to start small, and if it works out for you and you fall in love with it, you're going to get to the point where you've got hundreds of molds and everything. But what I would hate to see is someone, fully invest in it and get plastic pouring stuff and all that and then decide they don't like it.
Right.
So my advice 100% would be to start small, because trust me, if the bug's going to bite you, it's going to anyway. So
Absolutely.
yep.
All right. Question number 9. Is there anything special that you've been working on? And I know you already showed us some baits, but if you got some more baits to show us.
Yeah, I don't really have anything special. The dice thing this year, I put that mold together. I was really proud of that, just because just make it on your own. But a new mold I got in the last month, and I know Do It has had it forever, is the beaver bug. Got it on the back of a jig here,
Yep.
and I finally poured some a couple weeks ago, and it's just a large, creature style bait. And I actually got to throw it for the first time this week on the back of a jig, and man, I'm super proud of that bait. And I'm kind of aggravated I didn't go ahead and buy some sooner,
It,
because it's an awesome bait, and I can't wait for springtime to come around where I can flip it around here in the Ozarks and flipping with it. It's awesome bait. I'm super excited about it. So, and I know it's been around forever. So,
yeah. It's a proven bait. I'll just say that.
like I said, I was super aggravated once I got the mold, and thing's amazing. I missed out on that one. So,
All right. This is my last question for you. Question number 10. If you can fish with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
man, on that question, I've been super fortunate growing up. I've gotten to fish with a lot of people I really look up to, and
Okay.
I've checked a lot of those boxes. I'm super fortunate there. So 100% dead or alive, I would bring back my grandpa to go fishing for a day, because he took me fishing growing up. I was actually with him when I was like 2.5, 3 years old. I caught my first bluegill with him, and he kind of passed away before he's seen some of my successes in tournament angling. So if
Yeah.
I could bring him back somehow and spend a day in the boat with him, 100% that's who I'd pick.
Very cool.
So yeah.
Well, that's all the questions I have. I have a bonus question for you. Because I know that
Okay.
you do lead, you do plastics, you make A rigs and
Yep.
stuff like that. If you had to choose just one, do you like pouring lead better or plastic better?
Oh man, you got me on that one.
Okay,
But I would have to go with I would have to probably hang on to making pouring lead and making jigs.
me too.
Just
Me
because
too.
there's so much stuff you can do. There's the money saving aspect with it. You know, whenever you start talking about injecting plastics and everything, that's more of a creativity thing for me. But the jig thing is as well. But the jigs, you know, it's you save a lot of money whenever you pour your own jigs, and you get the perfect hook that you want. And like this is the poison head right here.
Yep,
I actually modified the head of that jig right there to take a turned eye.
I
So I
noticed
mean,
that.
there's just a lot of creativity, a lot of elements that go into jig building that I wouldn't be able to do without that for sure. That's
So
a good question.
I love modifying jigs, the molds and stuff, and I noticed that you modified that. So with the poison tail, you just took a little Dremel right on right
Yep.
where the hook eye goes, and it just fits. Um, the tricky part is getting it to accept the original hooks after you'd make the
Oh yeah.
mod. Or
Yep.
can you still? Does it still take the regular hooks after the mod?
Yeah, it does. I actually I'm so in love with this poison tail mold. I've actually got three of the same mold because I've made so many different things out of them. But yeah, you can still lay in what I would call the flat eye.
Yeah,
The thing is, it's going to flash a little bit, but that's simple. That doesn't really bother me. I just take side cutters and cut the lead off, and it doesn't really affect the integrity of the mold, in my opinion. It's just more of a convenience thing. If you're going to pour a bunch with the hook that it's meant to have, I just went ahead and bought another mold. So
there. Yeah, true.
yeah,
Um,
but yeah, you can still do it.
yeah, I use the poison tail a lot for chatterbaits. I make my own
Oh
chatterbaits
yeah.
with it. You know, I have ventured off and used the hybrid grass jig as well. I think that's a
Uh-huh.
phenomenal bait, but something about the OG poison tail just,
Oh man,
it's just awesome.
I think that's the most. If there's one do it mold that I just if they said you can only have one for the rest of your life, there is so much you can do with that thing. I wish I would have brought more baits to show you, but I mean I've got a chatterbait mold that I've modified with it.
Yeah,
I make it's a great big spinnerbait, and that's a super easy modification.
absolutely.
Because a 1 ounce spinnerbait's kind of tough to find, but that poison tail, it's got a great shape for a spinnerbait. A large chatterbait, like a 1 ounce chatterbait. The smaller ones are a great A rig head, in
Yep.
my opinion. I think that's one of my favorites of all time, and like we're talking about, the possibilities are just endless. So that's my favorite one. You can do anything with it.
Mine too. You, I, I flip it, I swim it, I
Yep.
drag it. I mean, everything you can do with a jig, it's like a all in one jig, and that's why I think that it's the OG poison tail, man. That thing is just
Yes, sir. I
a must
agree.
have.
Absolutely.
Well, that's all. That's all I got for you, man. Do you got anything you want to add? Do you have any shout outs? Anything?
Man, I don't. I just I'd like to shout out Do It Molds. I love being partnered with them, and like I said, I've used their product since I was 14 years old. So we're coming up on almost 20 years for me. Not to show my age, I guess, but
Yeah,
I've used some Do It products, and they make some great stuff. That's for sure. So I'd
absolutely.
love to give them a shout out.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on here and talking with me. Everybody watching, I appreciate you guys watching, and that's the show. Cut.
Thanks for having me.
No worries.